Hey YouTube, Webberz05 here, coming at you today with a kind of semi-late update, being my sort of tribute to Kazuki Takahashi after his passing. So guys, what I wanted to do, just wanted to talk a bit about my history playing the game and the impact it's sort of had on my life. So to give you guys the brief understanding of my start with the game, but actually before I get into that, guys, like, once again, quick apology about the background noise. That's just my air conditioning, because here in the UK, even now at about 11:30 in the evening, it's still absolutely baking hot, so I just needed to cool down a bit. So without further ado, let me talk a bit about my history then. So I got into the game because of the anime back when I was in junior school. Loads of people in my class were into the game, so I kind of got into it as well. What I remember from one of the first packs I pulled a first edition PSV Buster Blader. I was so happy about it. Then at some point I lost the card and I was really upset about it. But as of more recently, I was able to find it again on eBay thanks to my friend Aaron on Jamdo Cards. So that's sorted. So I was able to sort that out. So that's really happy again. Yeah. But yeah, so kind of grew up with the game from the TV series, but frankly didn't really get into like competitive Yu-Gi-Oh until like 2014 when Pendulum format stopped. When the Master Rule changed into Pendulums, I kind of fell in love with the mechanic and decided, yeah, I want to get back into the game now, because that's when I found my locals now, and I've been there ever since. So starting off with my kind of history, guys. My main deck that got me back into the game. For those who have not already guessed it, yes, it's Performer Power Odd Eyes Magician. This is the deck that this was the deck that got me back into the game in 2014 after I'd had basically a couple years break from playing the game. I'd kind of decided to get back into the game once I found somewhere that I could go frequently to do this. So yeah, was watching the Arc 5 anime at the time, really loved the mechanic, deck, looked really interesting, decided to give it a go. So built the deck, was kind of average at the time, didn't really get good until the first structure deck. And then after the first structure deck came out, I started using it with that support. And essentially I just started becoming one of the better duelists at my locals. And then over time, the deck continued to be good. For those who already know the history, you guys pretty much know what happened. The deck continued to be good. Then Konami just said, nope, Pendulum's too good. We need to start doing some hits. And then, yeah, Pendulum got several huge hits and kind of went into the dark for a while, so I kind of had to convert to some other strategies, but I still kept the deck, but kind of put it sort of on the back of kind of more casual like for a while. And also, so after the first major hits with it, spent a couple months just playing kind of adjusted versions of it that weren't particularly too good. Then I didn't start to make like a bit more of a comeback until Dark Illusion format, and they released Nirvana High Paladin, because at the time we'd also just had the the Fellground structure deck and the release of Return of the Dragon Lord spell cards, which I thought, especially some of the level 7 of those, Dragon from the Grave. I can use this with all my synchro monsters. And then I thought, wait, I can really use this easily with synchros. Nirvana High Paladin needs a synchro. That's it. I basically from there turned my Odd Eyes Magician build into a Nirvana High Paladin turbo spam build. Because frankly, guys, the ability to drop 3 Nirvana High Paladin in one turn is kind of fun. And he's got a pretty decently overpowered effect, so yeah, that was really good, really fun. Really fun. Kind of got me back into it for a while. Then had a bit of return with that. Then went through a couple phases. Then kept adjusting the deck every now and then with new support that kept coming out. kind of moved off the Nirvana spam for a bit, and then moved into the... I think I gave it a shot at playing a Odd Eyes Raging Dragon Turbo style deck. Moving on from the previous style I played, which was Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon Turbo, because frankly Raging just a little easier. Raging was a little easier to do, so I decided to give that a try. Then, naturally, of course, after that came Pendulum Evolution and the Zack Magicians. Then that basically took over the strategy for the deck. And admittedly, also guys, naturally, for those who have been with my channel for a really long time, you'd know that essentially after the Zack Magicians came out, that was kind of when I started YouTubing. So from there, most of you know my history, like the Zack Magicians, even at the start of Link format. Because we had three Astrograph, the deck was just so strong. It became basically the best deck of the format. And I basically became the absolute best player in my locals because I was the best player who knew how to use the deck. Oh, that was a wonderful time. And then after a while, once again, several hits to the deck, and then it kind of took a back. Then for me, Pensional Magician just took a bit of a got put on the back burner with the release of Endymion, because it kind of just got a bit power crept from there. So from there I kind of moved on. Started playing Endymion as my main Pendulum deck, but I never really gave up with the deck, because we just recently had Dimension Force and the new Odd Eye support, so I've kind of brought the deck back into there, but not so much using it for the Magician side. I'm just liking it for the Odd Eye side, specifically Gravity and Pendulum Graph as a ritual turbo, because frankly summoning Gravity to force your opponent to pay life points to play the game is just really fun. So yeah, I've essentially been playing Odd Eyes since the beginning, and that's why it's just always been a deck close to my heart, so always just kind of wanted to keep it around. Then, pretty much after, still in the earlier stages of my playing the game, around 2015, I think it was about 25th, start of 2015, moved on to playing Ritual Beasts for a while, when it came out in the Secret Forces side deck. I think it was Secret Forces, because around that time, guys, I was still kind of new, getting properly back into the game. Like Odd Eyes Magician at the time, they didn't have nearly enough support to be good, so I was thinking I do want to try tournaments, but I really want a deck that can try and do it. So I picked up the side set, got loads of the Ritual Beast stuff, decided to give it a go, and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty good, gonna give it a shot. And pretty much the main reason I wanted to try it was because it was a contact fusion build, and I absolutely really like Neospatians from the anime. They were pretty interesting. And naturally, contact fusion, it was a pretty simple build, and from the concept of how Ritual Beasts work, I thought, yeah, this is really simple to play, give it a shot. And so first tournament I played with Ritual Beasts, I ended up in the top 4, which was really good. I would have kept playing the deck, guys, but I think most of us know the history of Ritual Beasts. They were just so repetitive and loopy. Konami decided to hit Kanahawk to 1, and then from there, basically, the deck just died. And then from there, I kind of just put the deck away, didn't really pick it up again after that. Even when Kanahawk came back to 3 at that time, at the time when it came back, it was just like, power crept, not as good as it was. So, and then shortly after that, came into another around. After that got hit. That was around Cross Souls. After that was Clash of Rebellion, which naturally released. Next deck I started playing Draco Slayers. Yes, guys. At the time, I did what everyone else was doing. I joined the Pepe hype, just because I wanted to start doing better at my locals, so I just caved and gave it a shot. Frankly, guys, it was just fun. For those who didn't play in that format, you missed out. It was a very fun format. But it also, well, fun if you're playing Pepe, not so much fun if you weren't. Yeah. But overall, I've always really liked the style of the Draco Slayers and their appearance. I did try a couple different Draco Slayer builds after the Pepe engine died. I think I tried an Empowered Warrior version, which was alright. And then I also had to go with Dino Mist, which was okay, wasn't great. But eventually at some point, Luster and Ignister got hit to 1, and then the deck, well, similar to Ritual Beast, died. So then, kind of just put it away. But now with the recently revealed support in Darkwing Blast and more Draco Slayers, I'm starting to pick the stuff back up. I'm starting to pick the stuff back up again to get prepared for it, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to giving this a try. So guys, then at some point after Draco Slayers, I converted into playing another deck. One of my favorite archetypes from the anime, and one of my overall favorite decks of all time. It's probably my favorite archetype in the game. It's Blackwings. When I was younger, like before I got to my locals, I spent years trying to build Blackwings, but I was never in the position that I could get all the cards for it. So it was just kind of, I had most of the stuff, but I could never turn it into a proper deck. Then once I moved to my locals at Dead Universe, I started trying to pick it up a bit more. I still struggled a bit, but at some point during Pendulum format, Dimension of Chaos came out, and they revealed the new Blackwing support. And once I saw the Assault Blackwings, I'm like, okay, I'm building this deck. I'm committing to building it, and then I did. Then I tried it, and overall, it wasn't maybe the best competitive deck, but one of the things I've always liked with Blackwings is that it's always been a strong rogue strategy. I was able to play it every now and then in a couple of tournaments and do well. Though I kind of just put it onto this. Though after a while playing tournaments with it, I kind of put it to one side, because the main reason I stopped playing it was because it was during huge Burning Abyss styled format, so everyone was playing Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, which kind of put a hindrance on Blackwings, so kind of just put them to one side. I did pick up the newest support when Simoon came out, was the Search for Black Whirlwind. I've upgraded the deck for the moment. Am I going to upgrade it again for Darkwing Blast? I'm not currently sure, but I've got the option to do so. But I've still got the entire deck if I feel like doing so. Next deck that I played, and this card's also probably one of my more favorite cards that I own, but it was Cyberdarks. And for those who can't see it probably in the camera, this is a first edition print of an Ultimate Rare Cyberdark Dragon from Cyberdark Impact. God, that was such a good set. So yeah. So I got into playing Cyberdarks from the 2007 video game Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2007, or it might have been 2008. I think it was 2008 when Cyberdark started making an appearance. It was one of the two, but decided to build the deck because back in 2007, Foolish Burial. In 2007 in the video games, Foolish Burial was at 3, so it was so easy to just go Foolish, multiple Foolish, send all the pieces to the grave. Cyberdark Impact, make this, equip, smack. It was just so much fun back then. So I picked up some of the cards for it just because they looked nice. I picked them up in Ultra Rare because at the time I was getting more into rarity and higher rarity stuff, so I just picked it up because it was really cheap online. Like, I got this from my locals before they started properly valuing cards. Guys, I paid £1 for this card, and I've checked online because mine's first edition, and mine's also slightly shifted in its foiling. This thing's worth like a few hundred, so really happy that I profited so much off of this one card. But yeah, So another reason I picked up into the picked up more into the Cyberdogs was it was also around the time of the Felground structure deck. I thought to myself, Felground's a dragon deck that cares about the grave. Cyberdogs care about dragons in the grave. Let's try putting 2 and 2 together. And so yeah, I did it, and it was probably one of the more fun decks that I played. I think I've also heard Dark Magician 84 call it probably one of the most unique decks I've ever played of my Cyberdark Felground. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I still remember one fun play I did with this deck, using a combination of Felground stuff. I made a Galaxy Ice Cypher Dragon, stole my opponent's Dante, and then turned it into a dark matter. Oh god, that was fun. And so after a while, I tried them. Once we got the newer support cards of the first wave of support for Cyberdogs with like Cyberdark Cannon and Claw, I tried to go a bit more into a pure build, but I kind of kept the Felgrounds for the dragon side of it. This was also around the time when Dangers came out as well, so I thought, okay, this could be a really good way to start getting stuff into my grave more quickly. Gave that a try. It became alright. Wasn't entirely great though. And then naturally, you guys, for those who have seen some of my more recent videos, I wouldn't exactly call it more recent, but you guys did see that I did pick up the Cyber Style Succession deck when it came out, and they merged Cyberdogs with Cyber Dragons. Gave that a try. It was good. I was able to drop the fusion quite easily. I did just get kind of bored of it kind of quickly because the deck just kind of did the one main thing and it just wasn't really my thing, so I put it to one side. And next deck I played kind of still. It was another variant of Cyberdark, probably one of my more techy variants. It was a deck I called Zack Attack because it was a combination of Zodiacs, ABC, and Cyberdark. Z-A-C. Zack. So guys, I came up with this build during Gross format. For those who don't remember when that was around Raging Tempest and the release of the spell card, that Gross 6 screener. The spell card that says if you have more cards in your deck than your opponent, mill equal to the deficit. So you essentially play a 60 card build. If your opponent's playing 40 cards, you just mill 20 cards and then you just go off from there. So I decided to combine these because I thought, let's see, with Cyberdark Impact, I can just send all the stuff to the graveyard, then I'm immediately set up. And then I played the Zodiac engine simply because it's an engine that can just dump stuff out of the extra deck really quickly. Just go hit main deck Zodiac, overlay everything, and then if it goes to grave, that's like what? 5 extra monsters in your grave from summoning 5 to 7 monsters in your graveyard from summoning 1 monster because Rat Pile was at 3 at the time. That was good. And then also I threw in the ABC engine because Dragon Buster can be summoned by banishing the materials from anywhere. So I figured, yeah, why not? Throw it in, dump everything with grass, and then I'm just set up to summon a bunch of monsters. But then naturally, guys, at some point I did have to stop playing the deck because Konami decided that Grass Extrino was too strong and they had to ban it. Seems to be, frankly, guys, that seems to be a lot of the reason most of us stop playing decks, though, isn't it? Though something gets banned and then just like, okay, this doesn't work anymore. You're done. And so, following that, probably the next main deck I played after that. I think you guys, most of you will probably know this deck quite well because it's my main deck at the moment. It's essentially Mythical Beast Endymion of what I've been playing now. So originally, when the Mythical Beasts first got revealed, I thought to myself, you know what, this could be quite interesting for me because when they released an Extreme Force, I saw them like pendulums, immediate interest. But I'm like, all their scales are 4. Why are they pendulums that they don't pendulum summon? So I decided to just give it a go, and I'm just like, you know what? This isn't so bad. So I gave it a go as a pure build. It was pretty fun. Then at some point I combined it with spell books, made it a bit more interesting. And then naturally, once the Endymion structure deck came out, the synergy between these two decks was so good. They worked so well together, and then again, as I said earlier, like Odd Magician had been kind of power crept by this new stuff, and this kind of just took over being my main deck. And guys, I'm not gonna lie, I've been so happy ever since Endymion came out as a deck, because this deck has kind of boosted my skill level like through the roof since I started playing. Because for those who've seen me play Endymion for a while, you've probably seen all these crazy techs that I've done, strategies you probably never would have thought of, using crazy synergy. That's just, like I said, well, it's crazy, but that's the thing, it works. And sometimes that's just the best way to beat your opponent. Sometimes that's the best way to beat an opponent, by using something unorthodox that your opponent doesn't expect. But if it works really well, you might as well just play it. And so yeah, I'm just absolutely so thankful for the creation of Endymion and allowing me to become the player that I am now because of it. And guys, before I get into the last 3 decks, I just need to take a quick drink because I've been doing a lot of talking. That's better. Okay. So, moving on from Endymion, next deck of the one I got into was Evil Heroes. So, guys, this was another deck I got into because of the video games. Because on the Yu-Gi-Oh 2008 video game on the DS, at some point once I got through the storyline, picked up fought against Supreme King Jaden with his Evil Heroes in the game. I'm like, this deck is so great. And again, Foolish Burial was at 3 then, so I'm just like, cool. Foolish Burial, send Raviel, send Valkyrian, activate Dark Call, and drop a 7500 Dark Gaia. God, that was so great to do. And then at some point, I decided I did want to actually build. Once I found out that some people at my locals did have past format decks, I decided to build Evil Heroes as a past format deck of Dark sort of Evil Heroes / Dark Gaia OTK. Oh, it was such a fun time. And then at some point, Konami decided to reveal that with the Villains pack that they did more of the Evil Hero support, so I picked that up, played that for a while. But at some point, the deck became very Helmet into an OTK strategy, and essentially, once again, like with most of my decks, I just got a bit bored and just stopped playing it. Additionally, because the hero stuff wasn't anticipated to reprint anytime soon, I thought it was a good time to just get rid of some of the stuff and make some extra cash from it. So, gave it a go. And then after that, next deck I played, which is still currently one of my main decks right now, Plunder Patrol. I got interested in this, guys, because I really like its gimmick mechanic of monsters that summon from the extra deck and then equip themselves to it. It's really interesting seeing decks in current format that care about equips, because over the years we've never really seen too many equip style decks, with the exceptions of like Noble Knights. Though frankly, Noble Knights is probably the only deck I cared about equipping at the time. So it was kind of interesting seeing that, and also from the first revealed support I've seen, oh cool, it uses multiple extra deck methods as well, so I thought, yeah, let's give this a shot. And another thing I've enjoyed with it is like finding, again, strange bits of synergy, like what I found with Eldritch, the Golden Lord, his his synergy with the spells and traps is really great, so I'm really enjoying that. Though one of the things, I haven't been playing Plunder Patrol so much recently at my locals competitively, because frankly guys, I think you could all agree with this, Plunder Patrol does seem kind of format dependent, and around my locals I had so many people playing Virtual World, and Virtual World is one of the worst matchups because they don't play attributes I can abuse. So I kind of just stopped playing for a while. Additionally, now the deck seems to be at the point that you need to be playing the adventure package, which I don't have all of yet, so not playing it. So haven't really been using it too much, but I still have the deck and I still enjoy it every now and then. And then finally guys, the last main deck that I've been playing is Madolche. So I got into playing Madolche from a few years ago during a World Celebration event at my locals. It was the second one that we had. I really wasn't sure what deck I wanted to play, but a lot of the guys in my group, in my friend circle, in my group, kind of wanted to play the tournament. My friend Max really wanted to play the tournament, but he found out he had to work that day, so he wasn't going to be able to play. So, and like I said, I wasn't sure what deck I wanted to use, but I'd been watching Max play Madolche for ages, and I'm like, yeah, I pretty much know how this works. I'm like, so I'm just there with him. I'm like, Max, since you can't enter the tournament, do you mind if I use your Madolche? He's like, yeah, all right. So he let me borrow the deck. I used a few of my own cards for like side deck and stuff. I had a bit of time to practice it. It was really straightforward, and it allowed me to win the event. And then I took home the those prize cards, the play mats. It was overall a really good time. And then after the event, I had to give the deck back. I thought to myself, oh, I kind of miss playing Madolche. And then I ended up building the deck myself. But after a small bit of playing Madolche, after a while of playing Madolche, I kind of missed playing Endymion, so I put Madolche to the side and just went back to playing Endymion. So guys, that's pretty much my main bit of history in my playing the game. Hope you guys enjoyed hearing about some of the decks I've been playing. One thing I'd like to know, guys, what are some of your favorite decks that you've played over the time that you've been playing the game? Yeah, I'd be really interested to hear the kind of different strategies you guys like to do. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Be sure to like the video as always, comment down below like I said with your decks. And also, thank you so much, Kazuki Takahashi, for allowing me to enjoy this amazing game in which I've made so many great friends that I will cherish for the rest of my life. Thank you so much for everything. Rest in peace. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.